Hey you guys, today is Holy Tuesday. And in the Bible, it might be the clearest sign that we have that Jesus is coming back sooner than we think. Let me explain. On day one, Palm Sunday, that's when Jesus enters Jerusalem. Just like when God created the world, he said, "Let there be light." Light entered the darkness. And then on Holy Monday, Jesus curses the fig tree and cleanses the temple so that redemption can begin. Sacrifice, burial, and resurrection. Now, a lot of people, they associate that pattern with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But here's the connection that those who study the end times often also point out to. They say Friday is a day of confrontation and suffering, and that points forward to the Great Tribulation, the period of intense chaos and suffering and global shaking, which is very familiar nowadays, right? Okay, Saturday, the Sabbath of rest, points forward to the 1,000-year reign, a time of peace and restoration of Christ ruling. And then Sunday, when Jesus resurrects, points forward to when he returns in glory and defeats sin and death once and for all. Now, what if I told you that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday also reveal that pattern of the redemption story, but on a much smaller scale? All right, on Holy Tuesday, everything intensifies. Jesus teaches more than ever before on the Mount of Olives, and he talks about the end times. He says, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars." And then in Matthew chapter 24, he says that this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world, and then the end will come. He also tells the parable of the 10 virgins. He says, "Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour." And then he speaks of the final judgment. He will separate people from one another. At the same time, if you read, you will see that Judas begins to move in the shadows. That's when he goes to the chief priests to turn against Jesus. This is a day, Tuesday, a day of exposure, of urgency and decision. Light is increasing and truth is louder than ever before, and darkness is also scheming. Now, watch the connection. On Tuesday, Jesus is on the Mount of Olives teaching about what is to come. On Friday, he returns to the same place, Mount of Olives, where the teaching becomes reality. That's where he says, "Not my will, but yours be done." So Tuesday is the warning. Friday is the fulfillment. Tuesday is the confrontation in words. Friday is the actual confrontation. And that pattern also points forward. Tuesday points to Friday. Friday points to the Great Tribulation, the period of intense global suffering and chaos and confrontation unlike anything the world has ever seen. And then Wednesday, the Bible is completely silent. It's like a day that echoes or foreshadows Saturday when Jesus is laid in the tomb. And that pattern continues. Wednesday points to Saturday, and Saturday points to the 1,000-year reign, a time of peace, of rest, of restoration, where Christ rules and righteousness fills the earth. Thursday is when Jesus has his last supper with his disciples, and he washes their feet. And that echoes Sunday, when he resurrects and comes back and breaks bread with them again. And again, that same pattern points forward. So Thursday points to Sunday, and Sunday points to the great return of Jesus when he comes back in great glory, defeats sin and death completely, and we are with him forever. And here's why this matters to us so much right now, because we are living in a period of time that looks a lot like Holy Tuesday. You see, the gospel is being amplified everywhere. Jesus is teaching through his people more than ever before. The veil is lifting. And people are seeing and understanding because the message is more accessible and clear than ever before. And on Holy Tuesday, remember that Judas was scheming in the dark. And that is also happening right now. Judas' figures are also scheming in the dark, and that darkness is moving in the background, but it's also bubbling up to the surface where it's no longer able to hide. To me, that is an indication that we are about to enter the Great Tribulation, or we may already be in it. But that matters to me because of the question, possibly the most important question of our lives. Are we going to respond to the light, or like Judas, stay in the shadows? Because Holy Tuesday is not just any other day. It is an incredibly important day, a day that is both a warning and also an invitation. It is a day where teaching is increasing, the urgency is increasing. And just like Tuesday led to Friday, what comes next is closer than you think.